He has sent a message that I am only yours, a whisper carried through the quiet of night, filling the spaces between heartbeats. With a warmth I thought had long vanished, the moon lingered, spilling silver across my thoughts, and the stars seemed to pause, listening to a promise that felt older than time itself. Only yours, it said, a phrase simple yet infinite, falling softly like rain on the dry soil of longing. I felt it in the tremor of my hands, in the sudden sweet ache of hope, as if every fiber of me had been waiting for this single truth. The night held its breath with me, the air vibrating with a quiet reverence, and somewhere deep inside, a part of me I had forgotten, opened like a flower toward the dawn. His words lingered on my skin, gentle as the brush of a lover's touch, filling the hollow spaces, where silence had taken root, and I believed, for the first time in a long while, that love could be simple, yet unshakable, like a flame that bends but never breaks. Each word was a seed, planted in the garden of my soul, growing roots that entwined with my every thought, until I could not imagine a world without the echo of his voice. The night deepened, yet I was not afraid, for in the soft glow of his message, I found a sanctuary where only his love could reach me. I touched the screen as if it were him, as if the warmth of his words could travel through glass and light into my very chest, and I believed that it had. Time seemed to fold in upon itself, moments stretching into eternity, and I felt a quiet joy that no one could ever take away. I whispered his name into the darkness, not expecting an answer, yet feeling it already there, cradled in the certainty of being his. The message stayed with me like a heartbeat, soft, steady, alive, repeating itself in the silence. Long after the words had faded from the screen, I kept rereading it as if each time would reveal a new layer, a deeper meaning, a hidden tenderness only I was meant to see. The night around me changed its shape, turning warmer, quieter, as though the darkness knew that love was walking through its corridors. His voice, though distant, felt closer than the air I breathed, close enough that I could almost feel the warmth of his breath on my shoulder. The echo of "only yours" wrapped itself around me like a shawl woven from starlight, soft, glowing, unbreakable. I let my eyes close, letting the words settle into me, letting them sink deeper than any promise ever had before. In that moment, I realized that love does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it comes as a quiet message, typed in a hurry, sent with trembling hands, but carrying the weight of an entire universe. I pressed the phone to my chest, feeling the rhythm of two heartbeats, mine and the echo of his, aligned by faith, held together by hope. I wondered where he was when he wrote it, what he felt when he decided those words were meant for me alone. Was he smiling softly? Was his heart racing? Did he pause before sending it, knowing how deeply I would feel it? The thought made my soul bloom, like morning opening its arms to the sun, inviting every ray of love to settle gently within me. The world outside grew silent, as if everything understood that tonight belonged to us, a night shaped by devotion, painted with sincerity, carried by a promise that held the power to change me. I whispered back into the darkness, not through a screen this time, but through the quiet language of the heart. I am only yours too. And even though he could not hear me, I knew the message found him, because real love travels through unseen paths, crossing any distance, without ever losing its way. Throughout the day, I carried his message like a secret flame, hidden beneath my breath, yet bright enough to light my entire world. Every small moment felt different, sweeter, softer, as though love had quietly stepped beside me, its presence warm and undeniable. I found myself smiling at nothing and everything, because his words were still echoing through my soul, like a quiet song that never ends. Whenever I closed my eyes, I could almost feel his hand, resting gently over mine, a silent reassurance that I was no longer walking alone. His message replayed in my memory, with a gentleness that melted me, each repetition reminding me that somewhere in this vast world, someone had chosen me with a sincerity that felt pure. The wind brushed against my face, carrying a softness that reminded me of the tenderness in his words. I lifted my hand to the breeze, imagining his touch traveling through it, reaching me in ways that distance could never stop. My heart beat differently now, steadier, warmer, alive, as if it finally recognized where it truly belonged. I wondered if he was thinking of me, too, if he felt the same pull, the same longing, the same quiet certainty that we were connected, beyond explanation. Sometimes love arrives suddenly, like lightning illuminating a dark sky. Sometimes it comes quietly, like a message sent at the perfect moment. Soft, simple, but powerful enough to change the direction of your whole existence. His message had done that. It had entered my life gently, yet reshaped my heart completely. I held my phone again, not to read his words. I already knew them by heart, but simply to feel the presence of the moment they were sent. It was as if the warmth of his feelings had soaked into the device, and every time I touched it, I felt him closer. I whispered into the air, "My heart felt you even before I read it." Because it was true. Long before his message came, I had felt something awakening inside me, something quiet but deep, something waiting to be named by his confession. And now that it had been named, I couldn't let it go. Not now, not ever. As evening approached, the sky painted itself in shades of rose and gold, as if the world had decided to mirror the colors blooming inside my heart. I watched the sun sink slowly, its light stretching across the earth like a quiet blessing, and all I could think of was how different everything felt. Since his message arrived, I sat by the window, letting the last rays of daylight brush against my skin, and for a moment, I imagined his fingertips instead. Warm, gentle, lingering. The world outside was noisy, full of movement and voices, but within me, there was only one sound, the echo of his words, soft as a vow, deep as a heartbeat. He has sent a message, that I am only yours. The sentence drifted through me again, not like a memory, but like a living presence. I placed my hand over my chest and felt the way my heart responded, as if it recognized the truth in every syllable. I wondered if he knew how deeply his message touched me, how it melted fears I never admitted out loud, how it quieted storms I had battled alone for so long. It wasn't just a message. It was a doorway into something pure, something patient, something real. I found myself whispering his name, like a gentle prayer, not asking for anything, just feeling the comfort. It carried through my soul. The sky darkened slowly, and the first stars appeared, each one shining, like a tiny proof that love, even distant, can still light the night. I closed my eyes and imagined him under the same sky, somewhere far, yet somehow close, as if the universe had placed us in the same heartbeat. Even when our worlds were different, every breath I took carried his name, every thought reached for him, every quiet moment felt like a soft conversation between two souls, learning how to love again. And deep inside, I felt a certainty growing, a feeling that whispered. He meant every word he sent, that the promise in his message was not fragile or passing, but something strong and beautifully honest. Night wrapped around me gently, but I wasn't lonely. Not anymore, because his message lived within me, bright as a flame that refused to fade. Night settled softly around me, wrapping the world in velvet shadows, yet my heart felt brighter than any lamp glowing on the street. His message lived inside me, a small and steady light, shining even in the quiet darkness, guiding my thoughts back to him. Again and again, I lay on my bed, the ceiling barely visible in the dimness. But I didn't need light to feel him. His presence had already taken shape in every corner of my mind. I turned my phone over in my hand, tracing the memory of his words, without needing to open the screen. I knew them by heart, knew them with a certainty that made my breath soft and warm. Sometimes a simple message becomes a doorway to emotions you didn't know were waiting to be awakened, and his message opened that doorway for me. I felt my soul walking through it, slowly, cautiously, but willingly, as if I already belonged. On the other side, I wondered where he was at that moment. If he was awake, if he was thinking of me, if he felt the same gentle pull, that tugged on my heart like a thread, connecting us across the distance. The night was quiet, soft, almost sacred, and I found myself whispering into it, not expecting a reply, but hoping the air would carry my words to him.
I feel you.
I hear you. I am yours too. The silence after that wasn't empty. It was full of possibility, full of unspoken promises. That hung between our hearts, like floating lanterns, waiting to rise. The moon drifted through my window, its light falling on my pillow, like a gentle touch. I imagined it was him, a pale reflection of the warmth he ignited in me. My chest felt full, not with fear, not with uncertainty, but with a quiet hope that felt almost holy. Love doesn't always arrive with fireworks or storms. Sometimes it arrives with a message, sent in a moment of truth, a message that becomes a home for two hearts longing to meet. And as I lay there, wrapped in the soft glow of night, I realized I no longer needed anything else to feel complete, because his message had become the most beautiful place I had ever rested my heart. The night grew deeper, but sleep refused to come, because my heart was too awake, too full, too alive with the warmth of his words. I lay there, eyes half closed, feeling the rise and fall of my breath match the quiet rhythm of his message repeating softly in the back of my mind. Even the darkness felt gentle tonight, as if the universe itself was protecting the fragile beauty of what had just begun between us. I turned onto my side, letting my fingers rest where his hands might have been. If distance didn't exist, I imagined him lying somewhere too, perhaps looking at the same moon, perhaps touching the same silence, perhaps thinking of me with the same tender ache that pulsed slowly through my chest. There was a softness in the darkness, a sweetness in the stillness, a comfort in knowing that his words were real, not imagined, not hoped for, but truly spoken, truly meant. He has sent a message, that I am only yours. The sentence fluttered through me, again and again, like the quiet beat of wings brushing against my heart. I wondered how long he had carried those feelings, how many times he had stopped himself before finally letting the truth escape through his fingertips and into that message. And when he sent it, was he afraid? Was he relieved? Did he smile afterward, as if a weight had lifted from his soul? These questions wrapped around me like a gentle fog, mystery and sweetness, all blended into one. Yet I didn't need answers to know what I felt. My heart already knew, already understood, already reached toward him, as if it had been waiting for years. The night hummed softly, like a lullaby sung by stars too old to shine brightly, yet too wise to fade. I let that hum settle inside me, resting in the glow of his promise. I didn't need the world to understand this moment. It was ours alone, a quiet confession, shared between two hearts that found each other in the stillness of the night. I closed my eyes at last, not because I was tired, but because I wanted to feel him more deeply, in the silence behind my eyelids, in the warmth blooming through my soul, in the truth whispering gently, "You are his, and he is becoming yours." And with that thought, peace finally touched me, soft as moonlight, deep as longing, true as love itself. Morning returned softly, bringing with it a new light, yet the warmth of last night remained untouched inside me, glowing like an ember that refuses to fade. I opened my eyes slowly, and before the world could reach me, before any thoughts could form, his message rose again in my mind, a gentle echo of a promise made in silence. I reached for my phone, not to read it again, but simply to hold the place where his feelings had traveled toward me. My fingers brushed the screen, and I felt my chest tighten with a sweetness so deep it almost hurt, the kind of ache that comes only from real affection. I lay there for a moment, breathing softly, letting the morning sun warm the same heart that his words had touched so deeply the night before. Life felt different now, not louder, but clearer, like someone had gently wiped the dust from my soul and allowed me to see the beauty I had forgotten. I sat up slowly, feeling the way my heart beat, matched the rhythm of emotions I could no longer deny. Some loves arrive quietly, with no warning, no dramatic entrance. Just a simple message that changes everything. His message was one of those rare beginnings, a doorway opening toward something deeper, something honest, something destined. As I moved through my morning, every little thing, the sound of water, the touch of sunlight, the quiet hum of life, felt somehow connected to him. I poured a cup of tea, watched the steam rise, and for a moment, it looked like his breath, lingering close to me. I smiled softly, embarrassed by my own longing, but also grateful that I could feel this deeply again. To love is to be brave, and his message had awakened a courage in me that I didn't know I carried. I wondered what he was doing now. If he was thinking of me, if he was waiting for my reply, if his heart felt lighter after telling me the truth. A part of me wanted to message him back immediately, to pour out everything I felt, to hold nothing back. But another part treasured the silence, the way our emotions filled the space between us without needing more words. So I closed my eyes, placed a hand over my heart, and let my soul speak. In the language he had awakened, I heard you. I felt you. I am only yours too. And even without sending a message, I knew he would feel it. Because some truths do not need screens or words to reach the one they belong to. As the day unfolded, I found myself moving through the world with a softness I had not felt in years, as if love had wrapped itself around my shoulders and followed me everywhere I went. Every sound seemed lighter, every color brighter, every breath sweeter, because his message lingered in me, like a melody only my heart could hear. I walked outside for a moment, feeling the cool air touch my face, and it reminded me of the gentle way his words had touched my soul. People passed by, carrying their own stories, their own loneliness, their own unspoken desires, but I felt held, as if the universe had placed a quiet protection around me because of him. I found a shaded spot and let myself sit for a while, letting my heart wander to the memory of last night. His message had not been long, not poetic, not dramatic, just honest, real, pure. And sometimes it is the simplest truths that carry the deepest meaning. I closed my eyes and imagined his face, not the exact details, but the softness in his gaze, the warmth in his expression. When he thinks of me, I could almost feel the way his emotions travel through the distance, reaching me like sunlight, falling through an open window. A small smile rose to my lips, a quiet, gentle smile, the kind that comes when your heart is no longer afraid of being seen, of being chosen. I felt the wind blow slightly, lifting my hair, and for a moment, it felt like his fingers, brushing it aside, soft, tender, as if he were whispering without words. I meant it. My heart tightened beautifully. A slow ache mixed with joy, because that simple message had become the bridge between his soul and mine. I held on to that feeling, letting it fill me slowly, letting it seep into every corner of the quiet spaces inside me. For so long, I had carried my emotions alone, afraid to hope, afraid to believe that someone could hold me with sincerity. But his message had broken that fear with a gentle certainty, a softness that felt stronger than any promise shouted aloud. I whispered to myself, barely audible, but filled with truth. He chose me, and in that whisper, something inside me healed, something fragile, something long hidden, something that had been waiting for someone like him. The world around me continued, but I remained still, listening to the echo of the words he sent. Words that were no longer just text on a screen, but a living presence inside my heart.